Ikansan, Alafia, everyone. I feel honored indeed to be given the opportunity to share my thoughts on this very special conference. The first, definitely not the last, and we hope we can build on this excellent start. So thank you. The subject matter that I will be discussing with you and sharing has been covered before by previous presenters. However, I choose to take a slightly different path. I call this presentation the ancestral future. Strategies for youth engagement in the Ifa traditions of Trinidad and Tobago. Forgive my technical ignorance. Okay, so the subject, I will use the abstract that I sent to the committee. Just in the interest of time, I'll just read from the abstract. The subject is education and awareness of young people in the African traditions in Trinidad and Tobago. In the contemporary Caribbean landscape, the Ifa tradition stands at a critical juncture. This paper explores the generational bridge within Trinidad and Tobago, examining the challenges and opportunities in engaging youth with African traditional religions. It proposes a framework for ancestral future-proofing through pedagogical evolution, the digital shrine, and eco-spirituality, ensuring that the ashes of the ancestors remain a living force for the next generation. There are three core pillars that were identified and arguments. The first one is what I refer to as the digital shrine. Now, where am I going with this? If there's one thing that all children and all adults have, smallest children, is a phone. Education at this time takes place through the cellular phone. It's digital education. Information, knowledge, wisdom, for want of a better word, is passed on through digital means and digital platforms. The argument here suggests that in going forward, as a strategy, we tap in to that platform, the digital platform, to reach the next generation. So the digital shrine is democratizing knowledge through digital platforms to teach the Odu Ifa as a psychological system. Using social media for discovery phase education to dismantle colonial stigmas and counter misinformation with authentic visual storytelling. Interestingly, this misinformation a lot of it comes through the same medium. The second pillar is eco-spirituality, the green bridge. And I see that Yoka touched on that a bit. This is aligning Orisha worship with modern climate control concerns. Orisha are framed as natural laws, for example, ocean as water health, ocean as biodiversity, and so on. Proposed youth-led shrine gardens to preserve indigenous botanical knowledge. And the third pillar is Iwapele and mental health. Positioning good character as a framework for emotional intelligence, showing that the tradition provides practical tools for modern, professional, and personal survival. Now, these three pillars I want to just put the theoretical framework in perspective. Our traditional approach has been oral-only transmission. The ancestral future approach is blended learning, which is a combination of digital and oral. Our traditional approach has been secrecy as a default. The ancestral future approach is strategic transparency, education first. The traditional approach has been elder-led hierarchy. The ancestral future approach is intergenerational dialogue. Up and down. The traditional approach has been a focus on rituals. The ancestral future approach is focused on philosophy and character. Iwa. These have been some excerpts from the abstract. But I would like to go on just to read very quickly some other notes that I took as a narrative. So the presentation refers to a subject matter which I'm sure has crossed or is crossing the minds of all present, some of which have already been covered by earlier presenters. Actually, it is a justification for this very conference and is included in the theme of the conference. I therefore will not occupy the short time in talking about what you already know. The challenge here is not to identify what is the concern, because we all know what it is, but to address how it can be approached and tackled. The structure of the IOCTT is timely, as this organization is positioned and authorized to lead and effect fundamental transformation in our community by introducing what we do as a collective vehicle. It is this opportunity to be seized upon to address the concern of the subject presented. This topic chosen is meant to place the subject squarely as a front burner item for the health and sustainability of our future as a community. So, how can we address this? All the points that I have identified in the abstract can only be addressed by providing the opportunity for our youth to be educated, exposed, and participate in traditional African spirituality. The opportunity can be provided through a deliberate and sustained strategy by the IOCTT to develop and position an agenda in organized forum to be created. I asked the question of myself, how was I impacted as a young person, small growing up at different stages, and how I became so ingrained as a Christian, as a Catholic. And there are three things that jumped out at me at different stages, but nevertheless, the first one was holiday camp. I remember some white people, I was in Blanchisseuse in those days, with tie and thing, and getting little children to come to a house where they taught craft and other activities while using the opportunity to preach the good word. We were small and impressionable and very well influenced. So that was the first one. The second one is Sunday school. We had to attend Sunday school because our parents insisted that we go to Sunday school. That is where we were further instructed in the Christian belief system. And the third one that impacted me was something that is called CYO, Catholic Youth Organization, where parishes organize their youth and activities. Some were competitive, and structures were put in place to engage these parishes and bring the youth exchanging and so on. But the important thing there is that the messages and the lessons and the instructions were circulated and impacted. These were very effective and had the desired impact. We can learn from these principles and adopt principles in a way tailored to our needs. Presently at Ile-Shokan, a concerted attempt was made to introduce the IFA School of Enlightenment. The structure and resources necessary for successful introduction, which followed the ECCE models, made this effort very challenging. We have recently revived the effort, but with a different approach. So we will be hosting a vacation camp in mid-August 2026. Two weeks of daily engagement from 9 to 3 p.m. It is a work in progress, but that is being done. Can we have camps in every shrine as a national program? Although have to be big and although have to be fully subscribe, but the very principle, as small as it might be, to engage the youths that are attached to the various shrines can start the process that we're talking about. We will begin Saturday school in the new school term. What is Saturday school? It's like Sunday school, but it's on Saturday. So Saturdays are days that we can identify, and a short period in the afternoon, on Saturday afternoons, from 1 to 3, from 2 to 5, whatever, children getting bored very quickly. But if it is consistently done, you could start 2 Saturdays a month. It can be 4 Saturdays a month. So we will begin Saturday school in the new school term. Weekly instruction and exposure every Saturday afternoon. We may very well begin with every other Saturday, because everyone has schedules and so on. These programs will be available to all children in our national community. But there are logistical problems. So it will be better if all the shrines do Saturday school. So my suggestion is that the IOCTT can strategize and can put certain structures and policies in place to encourage this as a national movement, as a national community. So can we introduce a system of Saturday school in all member organizations of the IOCTT as a coordinated strategic approach? These are just 2 suggestions to address the concern by providing a forum and opportunity for our youth. Of course, other resources will be necessary to make them work. You have to have people. You have to have facility. This is not going to happen by itself. This is work. But it's an effort worth pursuing. But as long as we start thinking about this, other ideas and suggestions can flow, as long as we decide